Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is watching your struggle. That truth feels uncomfortable, but it is real. The world keeps moving whether you win or fall behind. People are busy with their own problems, their own goals, their own lives. Your pain, your excuses, your unfinished plans do not stop anything. And that is exactly why so many people stay stuck. They wait for support, they wait for the right moment, they wait for someone to notice their effort, but nothing changes. There is a hidden pattern behind this. Many people believe that hard work alone is enough, yet they still feel invisible. They put in effort, but they focus on the wrong things. They expect recognition before results. They look for validation before progress. And slowly, that mindset holds them back more than any obstacle ever could. Studies in performance psychology show that people who rely on external validation often lose consistency faster. They stop when they feel ignored. They slow down when results do not come quickly. And over time, they fall into a cycle of starting and stopping without real growth. This video breaks that pattern. You will understand why the idea that nobody cares is not a weakness, but a powerful advantage if you use it the right way. You will learn why waiting for motivation keeps you stuck, why discipline matters more than emotion, and how shifting your focus from attention to execution can completely change your results. These are not popular ideas, but they are the ones that actually work in the real world. There is also something most people do not realize. When you stop expecting others to care, you remove a hidden pressure from your mind. You stop performing for approval. You start working for progress. That shift changes how you think, how you act, and how consistent you become. It turns frustration into control and control into results. Stay with this video until the end because the final part connects everything into a clear way of thinking that you can apply immediately. It will help you move differently with more focus and less distraction, even when no one is watching. Welcome to the channel, where real truths are broken down into simple ideas that push you forward. Subscribe now and stay connected for more content that helps you stay focused, build discipline, and take full control of your life. Why do most people stay stuck, even when they want success so badly? The desire is there, the goals are clear, the effort is not always missing, yet progress feels slow, inconsistent, or completely blocked. It starts to feel confusing, almost frustrating, because on the surface it looks like everything should be working. There is something deeper going on. Effort alone is not the real problem. Many people work hard, but they work in a way that keeps them in the same place. They rely on motivation that comes and goes. They push for a few days, then lose focus. They start strong, then slow down when things do not feel exciting anymore. It becomes a cycle that repeats without real progress. There is also a hidden expectation that quietly affects everything. The need to feel ready, the need to feel confident, the need to feel supported before taking action. When those feelings are not there, action gets delayed, and when action is delayed, results never come. It creates a loop where nothing moves forward, even though the intention is strong. At the same time, attention is often placed in the wrong direction. Instead of focusing on building consistent habits, many focus on outcomes they cannot control yet. They measure success too early. They look for signs that things are working, and when those signs are missing, they start to doubt the process. This is where the real issue begins to show. It is not just about how hard someone works, it is about how they think, how they respond when things get difficult, and what they rely on to keep going when motivation disappears. You keep putting in the work, but it feels like no one notices. The effort is there every day. You show up, you try to stay consistent, you push yourself even when it feels heavy, but the results do not match the effort. Progress feels slow, almost invisible. It starts to feel like you are moving, but not going anywhere. There are moments where you pause and wonder if it is even worth it. You look around and see others getting attention, getting opportunities, getting recognized for what they do. Meanwhile, your work stays in the background. It feels quiet, it feels unseen. And that silence begins to affect how you think. Then comes the waiting. Waiting for someone to notice, waiting for a sign that things are working, waiting for support that makes the process easier. It feels like something is missing, like one push from the outside could change everything. But that push never really comes. The frustration builds slowly. You question your approach. You question your ability. Sometimes you even question your goal. It is not because you are weak, but because the effort without visible results starts to wear you down. At the same time, you keep going, you try again the next day, you tell yourself to stay patient, but deep inside, there is a feeling that things should be different by now. At some point, the truth becomes impossible to ignore. Nobody cares about your excuses, your pain, or your potential. That sounds harsh, but it explains why things feel the way they do. The world does not pause to understand your situation. It does not slow down because things are difficult for you. It keeps moving, and it only responds to what is real, what is visible, what is proven. Your reasons might be valid, your struggles might be real, but they do not change the outcome. They do not produce results on their own. Effort that is not consistent, plans that are not executed, and goals that are not followed through remain invisible. They stay inside your mind, while the outside world continues to reward those who deliver, no matter how they feel. This is where the shift begins. It is not about ignoring your feelings. It is about understanding that feelings alone do not move your life forward. The idea that potential will eventually be recognized is misleading. Potential means nothing without action that turns it into something measurable. There is no shortcut around this. The world pays attention to results, not intentions. It reacts to what you build, what you complete, and what you show over time. Everything else fades into the background. And once this becomes clear, the focus starts to change, not on explaining why things are hard, but on doing what needs to be done, even when it feels uncomfortable, even when no one is watching. At first, that truth feels heavy, but when you look at it from a different angle, it starts to feel like power. If nobody cares, then you are free. Free from pressure, free from expectations, free from the constant need to prove something to others. You are no longer performing for attention. You are no longer waiting for approval. That space changes everything. Without expectations from others, there is nothing holding you back. No one is judging every step you take. No one is tracking your progress the way you think they are. That means you can fail, adjust, and try again without carrying the weight of being watched. It removes a layer of fear that often stops people from taking real action. This is where control begins to return. Instead of focusing on what others think, you start focusing on what you can do. Your time becomes more valuable. Your energy becomes more directed. You begin to see that your outcome is not controlled by attention or recognition, but by consistency and effort over time. The mindset starts to shift. You move away from feeling like things are happening to you, and you start acting like things depend on you. That small change in thinking affects your decisions, your habits, and the way you approach challenges. And as that shift becomes stronger, your actions begin to align with it. You stop waiting, you stop explaining, you start building step by step with a sense of control that was not there before. Your life begins to change the moment you stop expecting and start executing. Not when everything feels right, not when motivation is high, but when you decide to move forward without waiting for anything outside of you. That shift is quiet, but it is powerful. It removes hesitation. It removes doubt that comes from looking for approval, and it replaces it with action that builds momentum over time. The idea that nobody cares stops feeling negative. It starts to feel like an advantage. There is no pressure to impress anyone. There is no need to explain your pace or your process. You can focus fully on what matters, without distraction. Every step you take becomes more intentional. Every action becomes a step forward, not a performance. This is where consistency begins to grow. When you are no longer waiting to feel ready, you start showing up more often. You do the work even when it feels slow, even when results are not immediate. That repetition starts to build something real. It builds discipline. It builds confidence. It builds progress that does not depend on anyone else noticing it. Over time, that quiet effort begins to stand out, not because you asked for attention, but because results start to speak for themselves. And when that happens, everything feels different. The same journey that once felt heavy begins to feel controlled, focused, and clear. If this message stayed with you, if it shifted the way you think even slightly, there is more to explore and build on. You can subscribe to the channel to keep learning ideas that push you to act, stay consistent, and move forward without waiting for anyone. At the end of it all, the truth stays simple. No one is coming to change your life for you. No one is responsible for your progress except you. And once you fully accept that, everything starts to shift. You stop waiting. You stop depending on things outside your control. You start focusing on what you can do every single day. Your excuses lose their power. Your doubts become quieter. Your actions become stronger. Step by step, you begin to build something real, something that does not rely on attention or approval. It comes from discipline, consistency, and a clear decision to move forward, no matter how you feel. This is where real growth begins, not when it feels easy, but when you choose to keep going anyway. Not when someone notices, but when you keep working even in silence. That is what separates those who stay stuck from those who move ahead. If this message pushed you to think differently, take a moment to like this video. It helps more people discover this truth. And if you want more content that keeps you focused, disciplined, and moving forward, subscribe to our channel and stay connected.